2 Chronicles chapter 29. Hezekiah became king when he was 25 years old, and he reigned for 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Abijah, the daughter of Zechariah, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord, according to everything his father David had done. In the first year of his reign, in the first month, he opened the doors of the house of the Lord and repaired them. Then he brought in the priests and the Levites and gathered them in the east square and said to them, "Hear me, Levites. Now sanctify yourselves, sanctify the house of the Lord God of your fathers, and cast out the uncleanness from the holy place. For our fathers trespassed and did evil in the eyes of the Lord our God. They forsook him. They turned their faces away from the dwelling place of the Lord and turned their backs on him. They also shut up the doors of the temple, put out the lamps, and did not burn incense or offer burnt offerings in the holy place to the God of Israel. Therefore, the Lord turned his anger against Judah and Jerusalem, and, as you see with your eyes, he gave them up to terror, to desolation, and to jeering. For indeed, because of this, our fathers fell by the sword, and our wives, our sons, and our daughters are in captivity. Now it is in my heart to make a covenant with the Lord God of Israel, to turn the fierce wrath of his anger from us. Now do not be negligent, for the Lord chose you to stand before him and serve him, to minister to him and burn incense." Then these Levites arose, the sons of Kohath, Mahath the son of Amasai, and Joel the son of Azariah. Of the sons of Merari, Kish the son of Abdi, and Azariah the son of Jehalalel of the Gershonites, Joah the son of Zimmah, and Eden the son of Joah. Of the sons of Elizaphan, Shimri, and Jeiel. Of the sons of Asaph, Zechariah, and Mattaniah. Of the sons of Heman, Jehiel, and Shimei. And of the sons of Jeduthun, Shemaiah, and Uzziel. And they gathered their brethren and sanctified themselves according to the commandment of the king, at the words of the Lord, to cleanse the house of the Lord. Then the priests went into the house of the Lord to cleanse it, and brought out all the uncleanness they found in the temple of the Lord and in the court of the house of the Lord. And the Levites took it out and carried it to the brook Kidron. They began to sanctify it on the first day of the first month, and on the 8th day of the month they came to the vestibule of the Lord. They sanctified the house of the Lord in 8 days and finished on the 16th day of the first month. And they went in to King Hezekiah and said, "We have cleansed everything in the house of the Lord, the altar of burnt offerings with all its articles, and the table of the showbread with all its articles. Moreover, we have prepared and sanctified all the articles King Ahaz polluted in his reign and his apostasy. We have prepared and sanctified them all, and there they are before the altar of the Lord." Then King Hezekiah rose early, gathered the rulers of the city, and went up to the house of the Lord. He offered 7 calves, 7 rams, 7 lambs, and 7 male goats for a sin offering for the kingdom, for the sanctuary, and for Judah. Then he commanded the priests, the sons of Aaron, to offer them on the altar of the Lord. So they sacrificed the calves, and the priests received the blood and sprinkled it on the altar. Likewise, they sacrificed the rams and sprinkled the blood on the altar. They also killed the lambs and sprinkled the blood on the altar. Then they brought out the male goats for the sin offering before the king and the assembly, and they laid their hands on them, and the priests sacrificed them. They presented their blood on the altar as a sin offering to make an atonement for all Israel. For the king commanded that the burnt offering and the sin offering be made for all Israel. And he stationed the Levites in the house of the Lord with cymbals, with stringed instruments, and with harps, according to the commandment of David and Gad, the king's seer, and Nathan, the prophet. For this was the commandment of the Lord by his prophets. The Levites stood with the instruments of David, and the priests with the trumpets. Then Hezekiah commanded them to offer the burnt offering on the altar. And when the burnt offering began, they started to sing to the Lord with the trumpets and with the instruments of David, king of Israel. So all the assembly worshipped. The singers sang and the trumpeters sounded until the burnt offering was finished. And when they had finished offering, the king and all who were present with him bowed. And King Hezekiah and the leaders commanded the Levites to sing praise to the Lord with the words of David and of Asaph the prophet. So they sang praises with gladness and bowed their heads and worshipped. Then Hezekiah spoke up and said, "Now that you have cleansed your hands for the Lord, come near and bring sacrifices and thank offerings into the house of the Lord." So the assembly brought sacrifices and thank offerings, and all who were of a willing heart brought burnt offerings. And the number of the burnt offerings the assembly brought was 70 calves, 100 rams, and 200 lambs. All these were for a burnt offering to the Lord. And there were 600 consecrated calves and 3,000 sheep. But there were not enough priests, so they could not skin all the burnt offerings. Therefore, their brethren the Levites helped them until the task was finished and until the other priests had sanctified themselves, for the Levites were more diligent in sanctifying themselves than the priests. There were many burnt offerings, with the fat of the peace offerings and with the drink offerings for every burnt offering. So the service of the house of the Lord was set in order. Then Hezekiah and all the people rejoiced that God had prepared the people, since the events took place so suddenly.